And I know this is not a usual recommendation when you're talking about Six of Crows, but hear me out. I really think that are similar. For me, it was this taste of, this reminded me a lot of, hi guys, it's Isa and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing, if you like this book, you might enjoy also this book. So, book recommendations. For those unaware of my channel, I publish bookish content every Thursday and Sunday for you to enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned, and if you end up enjoying the video, give it a thumbs up. For this video, we're gonna go through some of the most popular YA series, and I'm gonna be recommending to each of the series one or two books that I believe are really similar in the feeling that it got and that you might enjoy that. I'm really excited about this video, so I really hope you enjoy it, and let's get to it. Starting with one of the most popular duologies of BookTube, we have Six of Crows. Six of Crows is a very well-loved duology in which we follow different points of view in a story that is a heist at its core. We have these characters that are kind of morally grey, but that they are also very likable. We are embedded in this world where our characters are kind of in the underground, in the dark places. And if you liked Six of Crows, I have two book recommendations. The first one is The Lies of Locke Lamora, which is also a heist story that follows the point of view of Locke, who is this character very similar to Castbreaker, but it's a little bit more mature, it's a little bit more older, and I think that the heist that he is able to create are a little bit more crazy, and you see how he gets really deep into trouble, like hardcore. But the friendship elements, the aim to do big, I really believe that the element that makes them similar is this friendship bond that goes through both books. In Six of Crows, we know how the characters love themselves a lot. They have this family group of friends, you know, and it's the same in The Lies of Locke Lamora. But going a little bit beyond that, we have also Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. And I know this is not a usual recommendation when you're talking about Six of Crows, but hear me out. Mistborn follows the story where the majority of the population is kind of enslaved, and we have this Lord Ruler that is kind of the bad person that was ruling for thousands of years. And so our main man, Kelsier, starts creating a little bit of an uprising, and he recruits different elite people to create this kind of heist that it's not only a heist but also an attempt to create the downfall of this Lord Ruler. Yes, the story in Mistborn goes way beyond a heist, but the trilogy, and especially the first book, really reminded me of Six of Crows. They have this my friends and my family vibes. Also, there are different characters, all of them with different abilities, and each of those abilities contribute to the heist, which is really similar in my mind to how Six of Crows works. In Mistborn, it's true that we have a very rich layer of magic, and it's just a phenomenal trilogy. But if you are in for this friends family vibe in which we have different characters that are rich, that are complex, and that work together with an ultimate goal, is being or not a heist, then give Mistborn a try. Then we have An Ember in the Ashes, which is basically a story that follows different points of view. Each of these points of view plays different roles in this society that is kind of Roman inspired. And we have this militia, and then we also have these scholars, and we see how the different factions fight in order to, you know, just tear down the authoritarian empire. We have these different points of view that are really rich, that each of them are really charismatic and are very easily to root for. And I think that one of the main elements of this book is that these allow us to see the main story and the different points of view. So we have like the scholar point of view, but we also have the militia point of view. And I think that's super interesting because you end up rooting for all the different characters, and you know that cannot work at some points. There's also these friends to lovers, enemies to lovers tropes that I think is what keeps the flame in the book active. And for that, I have the Aurelian Cycle series. The first book is Fireborn, and it tells the story of a kingdom that was reigned by some dragon lords, and these dragon lords were defeated by the resistance, which is kind of the regular people, and they have kind of restated the tips of the power in the society. And we have 2 points of view in the first book that are best friends since they were children, and they have this kind of different backstory. In one side we have this girl that is orphaned due to the dragon lords, and another one that is a boy that is the son of one of the most powerful dragon lords, that when the uprising came he was left with no family. And so these two characters that are really different in their situations get best friends, and they grow together, and they nowadays need to face different sorts of contests in order to gain power, in order to lead the dragons that remain. And you know, that really speak to me in a very similar way into which an Ember in the Ashes did. It has this very charismatic point of view in both sides. As the series advances also, we have more perspectives inside of the war. It's very rich with the slow burn, which also happens in the Ember in the Ashes, and I really think that if you liked Ember in the Ashes, you will enjoy the Aurelian cycle. So give it a try. It has dragons, it has very interesting characters, it will make you cry, it will make you stay super hooked to the pages, so please give it a try. Then we'll move to A Court of Thorns and Roses. And so if you like A Court of Thorns and Roses, which as you know follows the story of Fairy, who is this girl that lives in the human world, but after she did something she gets kind of trapped in the fairy world, and she starts to fall in love with some fae, and then
she's like super powerful.
A lot of a chosen one trope. Then I really think that you'd like 2 books. The first one is this Hallowed Vows, which is a book that was released this year and is actually really similar in the taste. We have this girl that lives also in the human realm, but because of some reason she needs to go to fairyland, and when she gets there she starts to find that she is kind of different to the other girls, and she has her heart torn between 2 guys. It's a little bit of insta-love, which I also think that happens a little bit in A Court of Thorns and Roses, and also an enemies to lovers trope. There's a lot of similarities between these 2 books. In A Court of Thorns and Roses we have the Spring Court, the Night Court, and then in this Hallowed Vows we also have different courts, the Shadow Court and all of that. It's a fun book, really. I really enjoyed it. Although I have some doubts with the story, I actually made a video for that. I will link it down below. Great book overall. But I also believe that if you liked A Court of Thorns and Roses, you will enjoy the From Blood and Ash series, mainly because of the love, because of the chosen one trope, and you know, just having this main point of view that it's a girl that you kind of root for her. She's kind of naive but also powerful. She's able to, you know, face situations with a lot of courage. It has this super sexy, smutty element, and it's in its core a very heavy, romantic, sexy story. So if you liked A Court of Thorns and Roses, you should really give it a try to the From Blood and Ash series or this Hallowed Vows book. And okay, now we move to The Cruel Prince. And I reckon the recommendations are a little bit more far-fetched, but I really think that if you enjoyed The Cruel Prince, you may also like To Kill a Kingdom and A House of Salt and Sorrow. And hear me out. I know this is not typical recommendations, but I think that one of the main themes inside of The Cruel Prince is not just the Fae themselves, which is also a topic, but having this character that's a little bit of, you know, like this super smart character that she is kind of alone in this situation, and we have this trickster element inside of the story. And for that, I think it has similarities with these 2 books. So starting with A House of Salt and Sorrow has this dark theme, this kind of cruel point. In The Cruel Prince we have some scenes that were actually pretty savage, and that kind of reminded me a lot to The House of Salt and Sorrow, as well as this trickster thing that reminded me a lot of what these girls face. So House of Salt and Sorrow is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Priestess story, and so we have these 12 sisters, and one by one they start dying, and so our main character Annalie is just in this path to understand what's happening as she's starting to see some ghosts, and it seems that, you know, all of them get to some dances. And I really can't tell you anymore, but the balls that we have in the Cruel Prince are really similar to how the balls in A House of Salt and Sorrow were depicted, and how the dances were, and how the trickstery that it has. It was really similar for me. And then for the point in which you are a character at the main point of view, that you are very intelligent, you are courageous, and that you have like more vision than the regular people, we have To Kill a Kingdom. I reckon that To Kill a Kingdom, it's not the same story, but it is an enemies to lovers story that is actually kind of the mermaid retelling, and we have this main girl that is the princess of the sirens, and the sirens are actually a little bit also savage. They rip out hearts, and so they gain power this way. And I think that beyond the enemies to lover trope, that it's similar, having this very charismatic character that has so much more vision than other people, that it's able to, you know, create a lot of steps and plan ahead. That happens in The Cruel Prince also happens with Lyra in To Kill a Kingdom, and how she has this plan that it's only known by some of her family members, and that meanwhile she keeps in the dark a lot of people to achieve something. Felt really similar. Then moving on to the Shadowhunters world and keeping it open, because I believe that the tropes that are on it are kind of really similar. We have the Black Witch series. The Shadowhunters world mainly depict a world where different species live, right? We have this Shadowhunters, we have the demons, we have the werewolves, we have all of that mix, that it's kind of really similar to the taste that we have in the Black Witch, where we have wyverns, werewolves, the alliances that are created between the werewolves and the main character. You know, it just reminded me a lot as the Shadowhunter world. Also, you know, we have this chosen one trope and a lot of love. We have these story of different generations of characters that are mentioned and are not really into the book, but are mentioned. Like, we follow the story of our main character Ellerin, whom grandmother was the most powerful witch, and she has a lot of mark in this story. We hear a lot about her parents, you know, her brother. There's a lot of this community inside that, and so I really think that if you liked it, you will enjoy this book. And last but not least, we have Shadow and Bone. Shadow and Bone is a trilogy that leans a little bit more younger, I think. Got a lot of hype again this year due to the Netflix series, which I really love. But if you like this chosen one story, coming to age, having this friend that you know and you love since they are children, I really think that you will like Snow Like Ashes. And this book is a little bit old, same as Shadow and Bone, I must say, but it's really similar to me. It follows the story of our main girl that lives in a kingdom where everything is separated based on the seasons, and she lives in the winter season, which I think that the setting kind of also reminded me of Russia from the Grishaverse. Beyond that, this kingdom, it's kind of invaded. There are only some winter people that remain, and so her best friend is kind of the heir of the throne of winter, and together they need to find some artifacts, and you know, the story kind of unfold from there. And that was, yeah, really similar to the Shadow and Bone story. Actually, we have this I want to seek things that will grant me power, and also, you know, this I love you since we are children, and then what happens, and also the chosen one coming to age. It has all of those topics. Meanwhile, we are embedded in this universe where there are a lot of vivid settings, and you know, it's just kind of a frigid. True, we don't have the Darkling, which is a negative point for Snow Like Ashes, but I really think that you'll enjoy it. And an extra book which I wasn't able to create some similarities, and I'm opening this question to you. What book do you guys think we should be recommending for someone that liked the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas? Really think that this series got complex. It's unfolded in, I believe, 7 books or something, and so although the first book's a little bit more on the romancy side, it gets multi-perspective throughout the different books, and the story is just so massive, so I want to tear the empire down, meanwhile always having this chosen one and I love you story. But I researched a lot and I wasn't really able to come back with a book for this, so I just want to recommend this book straight to you. So Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas series. If you like stories that have a very powerful main point of view, that she is the chosen one, that she is very attractive and every man that she faces is gonna fall for her. Meanwhile, she is gonna be super, you know, like intelligent, courageous, and she will outsmart everyone. But really, it gets more complex, believe me, from book 3 or book 4, so you kind of need to push through those books in order to get the whole story down. But we have witches, we have also wyvern, you know, we have fae. It's actually kind of good. Alrighty then, that was it for today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're gonna get more videos similar to this one, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see each other real soon in another video. Bye!